Okay, thank you. So without any further ado, we watched a beautiful short film that was based in Ladakh about Ladakhi people who, a very particular tribe in Ladakh. And it's introduced as something that deals with the inherent connectivity of human life, the inherent shared sense of the human condition, and why this, what it feels like to feel uprooted from one's own roots. So we'll pass over to Stenzin to tell us more about this film and about his work.
Thank you so much. First of all, I hope everyone was able to watch the film. Internet wasn't the problem for anyone. If you have not and you can rewatch it later, I hope you'll share the link again so that they can rewatch it properly. The point, first I'll introduce myself. My name is Stenzin Tankong. I'm a filmmaker here from Ladakh. My projects has been like what I'm doing now is I'm aiming to make films on, there's a particular region in Ladakh, which is called Changpa. That's towards the east of Ladakh. And so these are the people that I try to capture through my storytelling is the people of Changpa who are basically the nomads. They are pure nomads. That means they don't do agriculture. They live fully on, what do you call that? They have herds, sheep, goats. You must have heard about Pashmina goats and stuff like that. Those kind of things, and they don't stay in one place. In a year, some nomads move it like around 7 to 8 times. Some move around 14 times a year. These movements are done just to look for a better pasture land for the hundreds and thousands of herds that they own. So that is their life. Their life. They live on the altitude of above 13,000 feet or above sea level, and it's extremely cold during the winter. The temperature goes as low as -35 during the winter, and summers are nice, like around 22 degrees plus. So it's an extremely difficult kind of life, and a lot of people, the nomads themselves, I'm a descendant. My grandparents were nomads. They have migrated to the city or town, which is now called Leh. And I was born here in Ladakh. I've never lived that nomadic life. I've studied out of Ladakh for my whole life. And now I'm looking at my roots and I'm seeing that we are in the verge of losing this form of lives, this culture, this tradition of life. And it's very precious and it's very rare that this kind of tradition, it's precious wherever you look, even in Mongolia or in Tibet or India, here in Ladakh. So let's say just 20 years ago or 25 years ago, there used to be like around 120 families per tribe. Now you can hardly see more than there's hardly 16 families that are left in one tribe. Another tribe has 19 families, and it is decreasing with each year. Now, I don't blame the people who are living this form of life, because like I said, it's a very difficult kind of life. They don't build houses. They live in a tent, which you must have seen in my film. Those tents are made of yak hair. It's not yak wool. These are made of yak hair. These are extremely heavy to transport. Nowadays, they have these mini trucks and whatnot. But those days, it was fully done, carried on yak, and they used to shift. When you shift your entire house. And every time, it's a really difficult process. So a lot of people got attracted by the more easier kind of lifestyles that we have in the cities or in town, and they left their way of life and they've shifted towards the cities, not knowing that in the process we are losing on a culture or ancient wisdom which was built through the hundreds and thousands of years of our ancestors. So now my point, I don't make documentary films because I think I'm not interested in documentary films. but I make fiction films. This is a story. It's a fictional story which you just saw. It's a short film, short fiction, and I'm making another short fiction which is almost ready now. So through my fictional stories, I'm just trying to bring attention of the world, or the people around me at least, about this culture, this tradition, and the people there, so that if not anything, we can at least have a record of that culture, archive it sort of in a fictional way. Documentary filmmakers are working on it. They are documenting it. Scholars are writing books on them. Small things are happening. I'm doing my part, and I'm doing it the best what I can. That is through making film, through telling stories through camera, through the medium of camera and sound, audio and video, audiovisual medium. So that's about that. Has been my project, and it will be my project. I will try to encourage people to visit those areas and look and interact. And I'm trying to encourage those who are there not to move out. Instead, with modern technology, we can make their life pretty easy with renewable energy sources that we can have, and the forms of architectural technologies that has come in today's world, where you can have prefabricated houses, maybe, which are lighter, which are easier, and eco-friendly kind of building styles. So we can have a lot of things now. A lot of things are possible, and the government is building roads, and all those things are gone there. And we want to maintain that the younger generation at least looks back and knows where they have come from, because the current situation is that now what you see in the villages, either infants or they're old people. I mean, by old, I mean people, everyone is above 50 or 60, like older generation. The generation, my generation, or those who are teenagers or in 20s, 30s, and 40s, they're not there. They're choosing out of that, because that form of life is difficult. One, second, it doesn't make sense in terms of economical. It's not economical, and there's no source of income, kind of that. But right now I'm trying to we have one of the most precious textile form, which is called pashmina, or we call it lena. That's the real term. Lena is the term, and lena is the term. So that sells very expensive throughout the world. You must have heard about pashmina shawls, how expensive they are, and whatnot. So we are trying to, not just me, there are a lot of people, even the local government, they are trying to encourage people to, this form of goats, sheep. These goats are found only in that region, only at that altitude. They have to, the diet of these goats are these medicinal plants that grows naturally on such altitude, high mountain. And only then, not random goat cannot be pashmina goat. The pashmina goats are very specific to that region. India just produces around 4% of pashmina, and 96% of pashmina is produced by Mongolia and China, where they have this kind of altitude is there in Tibet, that is basically in Mongolia. So we are trying to preserve that. And when the people see some sort of income, financial income, monetary income, that might encourage them to stay back. By coming to city, they have not gotten the modern education. They cannot do anything except to become a laborer's job. By staying back, they can be entrepreneurs. All of them can be entrepreneurs. They can have control over their own lives. So that is what we are trying to encourage. And it has, some of the families are going back from city, very few, not much. But the older generation, when I ask them today who are settled here in town, I say, like, they always tell me life is much easier. Your clothes is being washed by a washing machine. Food can be stored in your fridge, and all your gas is just one matchstick, and you have that fire. You don't have to work hard for all those things. But they say that from my heart, we were happier then. Right now we are here, we have all the facilities, but we just feel little agitated, sort of, all the time. There it was more peaceful. Life was tough, they say. Physically it was tough, the condition was tough, but by mentally, mind wise, they were more happy out in their own region. So that means So, so that means that if we can do something which eases their life, the physical difficulties that they face, then definitely it's a very attractive form of life. That way we might save an ancient tradition, ancient culture that way. So I think the modern, from my film, you can see this kid have to leave without knowing what school is. Your mother doesn't know what school is. They just think that you become officer, it's attractive and all this whatnot. But I see a major problem in our education, the modern education system. And I think education cannot be rule, one form of education applies to all. That I don't think that that's correct. The education, wherever it goes, whichever culture it goes into, the modern education, it has to somehow, you know, uh, it has to give space to that local culture, and education has to work with that instead overpowering some culture, some tradition. Then that mentality comes in, what do you call, inferiority complexity. Yeah, yeah, that kind of mentality comes in, and people starts feeling bad about their own identity. Now, I mean, that shouldn't be our education. Education should make you feel proud of who you are, where you are from, and what your culture, language, tradition, religion, whatever ethnicity you belong to, should make you feel proud of it instead of making you feel bad about, or, feel inferior about. So that has been the idea behind making this small film. It took me 1.5 years just to write this 13 minutes, 20-second film. And it took us, see, cinema doesn't happen just like this. It's a teamwork, and we have an amazing team, all Ladakis, and we have shot in a very difficult condition. I will share now behind the scene kind of Sekool. I'll share a little story. Uh, we shot with you are not a film student, so you will not know, but I'll just say it's a very basic camera, Canon 5D Mark IV. And we didn't have money at all. My father was the cook. He was cooking for all the crew. The crew, by crew, don't take me like fancy crew. There was nothing like that. We're just 7, 8 of us. The kid, when he's acting, he's acting. If he's not acting, he's working. He's doing something else. The mother, if she's acting. If when she's not acting, she's probably doing something else, holding the mic or I don't know what not. And we didn't even, and that's the place where there's no electricity. We didn't have money to carry a generator with us. So we charged 4 or 5 batteries, and we have to shoot the entire movie with those. So when you shoot one scene, you look into the camera, check if the scene has come out good or not. But we couldn't afford that. That means consumption of battery, more consumption of battery. So what we used to do, we shoot, then we just discuss how the camera person felt, the DOP, Jigmit, how he felt, how I feel, how Tani Sanjin Chopal, who was doing sound, he's the executive producer. We just used to discuss amongst us, did you think it was there, that feel was there or not? वो feel था कि नहीं था, मुझे लगता है थोड़ा emotion में कमी है, थोड़ा और एक बार दोबारा करते हैं. We couldn't look at the camera and check because that will consume more battery, and just to charge it we have to travel another 120 kilometers, crossing 17,000 feet, a pass, a land pass, and that would be a lot to do. So we shot that way, and it was difficult. There are a lot of other physical difficulties we faced, nothing mentally, because we were all united. Our vision was same. We believed in the same thing, whatever we were doing. That way, mentally, we didn't face any challenges. Physically, we did. But that's okay. Now the film has come out good. It has traveled, I think, except for African continent, it has gone to, and of course, Antarctica and all, I don't know. Polar region, it has not gone. Apart from that, it has gone to every single continent, and more than 3 or 5, or in Europe, it has gone to more than 10 countries, even in America and in Asia, of course. So it has been good. People are using this film. It's a matter of great pride to me and my team that our film Sekool is being used in France, in Greece, part of their education curriculum for 8 years. They will be screening it to kids who is below age of 12. and they are taking interest, they're learning new culture, they are seeing the disconnection. My friend from Colorado tells me after the movie that I can connect. So if and some American can connect, then anyone can connect. That's what I feel. Uh, so not just America superior, whatever, that their way of life. That's what I'm saying. And of course, people of our country, Indians, we all connect. We definitely connect. You might have connected. I don't know. I hope. So that's the brief introduction of me, our work, and our culture, and the work I'm trying to do. And I'm going to make more films on this culture, longer movies. I can't say better or worse. We'll make movie. We'll keep documenting fictionally. Yes. So if you have any kind of question or comments, please feel free. Thank you.
You hearty congratulations on finishing the film and the film traveling so much, because it is gorgeous and it asks such complex questions and brings attention to so many themes and aspects of life, of rootlessness, of what it means to be rooted, of what education can do and can't do, and how it needs to be transformed. But I shall leave that to our students. Please put all of your questions in the chat box. We shall read them out one by one, and Stanzin can answer them for you. So we've received one question in our private chat. The question that they're asking is, it's not directly related to the film, but more towards the communities. And they're asking is, how is climate change affecting these communities, if at all?
Yes. So I just finished making, like we shot last summer. It's a bigger scale. Because of this movie, I had a lot more people now trusting my work. They think they can put some money in my film, and we got some money, and we made, my new film is on exactly the impact of climate change on the nomads. That's my next new film. It's called Last Days of Summer. That's the name of my next film. See, ancient wisdom say, they used to function according to ancient wisdom. They didn't have the weather news coming in. Didn't have, so they, the movement, their movement from one place to another was determined by the weather patterns. So with hundreds of years of wisdom that has been passed down from their ancestors, they knew exactly when to move from one place to another. They will not overgraze a particular mountain, because they see if we overgraze this, then there won't be enough time for regrow this mountain. So they know exactly how much time each mountain can be grazed for these animals. So now, because of climate change, we see very strange climate pattern, and now their ancient wisdom that's failing. They're not able to predict the weather anymore. In the middle of summer, there's snow. When there's supposed to be little rain, there's no rain at all. During the winter, when there's supposed to be snow, there's no snow, or there is snow and it is extremely, the amount of snow is extreme, and it grows so much that it covers the entire land, and these goats cannot even pick the grass beneath the snow, and then they die of hunger. So such as being now we have problem is that melting of glacier, of course, and the recharging of snow that happens during the winter is getting lesser with each passing year. That means lesser water. Lesser water means lesser grazing ground. That means more animal dying of hunger. So that is the direct impact that they are facing. Indirectly, we are still yet to see what all can. There can be new diseases amongst the animal that can happen when the weather pattern changes, that can affect the herd and the people, of course, the community itself, whatever is left. And of course, a lot of waters are drying. Stream waters, fresh mountain waters are drying now. They're not flowing as per supposed to flow. So these are the impacts that they are facing. Again, now that is making their life harder now. Again, that is encouraging them to move out of this land and come to the cities where we bore the water from underground and drink and not think about future of it, the repercussions that can have after 10 years or 20 years. But yeah, again, that is contributing to them leaving this system of life.
Thank you for that. And yeah, that's a very, very real and very immediate concern and crisis that we are dealing with. And that should be addressed. Hopefully, we will have you here back with your next film.
Mhm. I
Um,
hope.
as well. Well, we have another question which says, where did the idea originate to make such a simple film with a very complex yet important aspect of life leaving places where you used to belong?
Mhm. So see, I'm a film student, and when I was in Pune studying film, we were screened a lot of films from all over the world. I'm sure a lot of people have not even heard or seen this kind of cinema, but we have been exposed to. Now, these films are from filmmakers. These are not fancy Hollywood filmmakers. These are from Iran. These are from Italy, right after the Second World War. You know, uh, it is from Japan, right after the Second World War. And these are stories about farmers, stories about soldiers, stories about a common person who are just trying to regain their life after a devastating Second World War. Or in Iran, how the cultural revolution, the shift, and so and these people, they tell story of their roots, their struggle, and how they are coping. They are coping with their lives now in current scenario. So I'm really inspired by Iranian cinema. I'm inspired by the Italian neorealism is what they call it, because I'll tell you, this is just a film thing. Right after the Second World War, Italy lost, and Italy was became a very poor country. They were struggling. Every single one was struggling. Then these filmmakers, they thought they wanted to make film on that. They couldn't afford fancy studios, or they couldn't afford. There were no actors, professional actors, because everyone was struggling to just live by. Forget about finding some professional actors and all. And what these filmmakers did was they went to, let's say, if today I'm making a film about a person who is looking for a job, okay, who's struggling to bring food on his table, his family's table, or her family's table. So as a director, what they used to do is they used to look for a person who's going through that kind of situation, and they ask them to act in a story, fictional story written by them. So story is fiction, the scenario is real, the people are real. It's called neorealism. That's where it started. Then later on, that inspired Iranian filmmakers who are living under such a difficult censorship and whatnot. Still, they are going through, and they also wanted to, they wanted to comment on the political scenario of their country, the economical scenario of their country. They couldn't do it directly because the censor would shut them and jail them. What they used to do is tell stories in a indirect way, yet then the censor wouldn't understand what they're actually trying to say. When it comes to us, the students and the thing, then we understand, and we are taught, we analyze their film, what they're actually trying to say. So that inspired me a lot. Then I was in Bombay assisting and all, but then I thought, okay, I'm here to I chose this profession or this passion I'm following, not to become assistant. I want to become a director. I want to tell stories, not tell some random Bollywood story where everyone is dancing around. That was not something I believe in, but that inspired me initially. DDLJ and all that, put me that cinema, that made me love cinema. That's why I still love them. But for my storytelling, it's not that. Then I thought I have my problems at my root level, and I don't want to become a documentary filmmaker because that's not I'm interested. I want to become a fictional filmmaker. Then I took inspiration from them and wrote a story there. Then I thought, why be in Bombay when I can make my own? Then I came back to Ladakh. In 2018, I started making this film. And since then, I've not gone to Bombay to work. I go for post-production of the films that I make here. We don't have great studios or very talented post-production artists here. We have a lot of great studios and great talent out there in Bombay. I carry, and those are also people, though they do commercial, but they're human beings, right? Even they look for good work whenever they see some interesting, some where they can help, where their talent and their time can benefit someone else to make a good cinema. They are willing to. So everyone in Bombay helped me without charging me anything in completing Sekool. It is a post-production where it is done professionally. Even my new film, this time I had some money to pay them also. So it is half is being done there in Paris and half is being done in Bombay, the post-production. So that way it's working out slowly. But yeah, that's been the main thing, that I'm inspired from Iran and Italian cinema and Japanese cinema.
That is absolutely fascinating. And I think a different way to go back to your roots, which is again a beautiful way to engage with it. We have another question relating to the previous question about the global warming and the
Yes.
climate change that is
Yes.
happening.
Yes.
So given the crisis that is bringing in, what are the ways that the nomadic lifestyle can sustain in such conditions then?
The sustainable form of living, I really believe in. Now this help should come not within, but it should come from outside. Like yourself, you're an architect, college or institution. You can build them eco-friendly, sustainable sort of buildings, right? Which can protect them from the harshest of the winters. Not just for them, the pen that the animals are kept in. A lot of animals die of cold also. How we can design in a sustainable way the pen for the animals so they are not dying in the extreme of the winters. So also the renewable energy, the solar energy or wind and all, these are like Ladakh, 80% of the time it is sunny, and there's a lot of solar energy can help this form of life. And of course we need to see industrialization. It happens somewhere else in our country, in Europe, in Africa, we're not. But the impact of it, we are all facing the brunt of it that we cannot control, right? Whatever we can control at the community level. Right now, their direct problem is this physical condition, the hardships that they are facing. And if we can, with our own, in a sustainable way, if we can come out with solutions, like architects, engineers, and whatnot, like they can come out with solutions in a sustainable way that can actually help contribute, preserving at least one culture, a tradition. And you never know, tomorrow things can improve. I'm not very pessimistic about things. I'm very optimistic. There's a scope that things can improve. And just like this is one small film, there are a lot of people writing books and making bigger documentaries that is influencing making people think about this kind of community, which are in very remote, right? And think about it. And a lot of people have been coming from all over the world, like not a lot, like some of them, and they try to contribute in their own way, whatever they specialize in, scientist or an artist or whatever. And things is moving towards a very positive future as of now. So
some student has really got on to that and has asked, so education, modern education as it is, can not only take people away from their communities, but also bring them back in another way and contribute to the same systems. Is that one way of looking at it?
See, like I mentioned, education should not make you feel bad about yourself or who you are. Basically, that's what I'm saying. No matter what country, what is your economical situation, what color of skin you have, what kind of religion you believe in, anything. Education should make you feel good, proud, and it should make you think that how I can sustain it, take it further ahead, and take it so much ahead that it is beyond us. It benefits people who are after us. If education can do that, that's real education. Right now, our education system, we all know, I'm sure we all been studying the same syllabus, CBSE, ICSE, I don't know, in school, and right, we know how it is. It is not that, it is a one single pattern that is decided by some education officers or officer or officers or something, and entire country follows it. And there's very less space. There is space. I'm not saying there's not. There's very less space, which talks about the real thing. That is the community in which we live in, right? The community that we belong to. That doesn't talk about it. The single rule, whatever pattern is followed in Europe is followed here. That's not correct. Each state, you are in Gujarat, it's different. I cannot have follow Gujarat condition here. Gujarat cannot follow condition what is here in Ladakh. So everything needs to be taught according to the geographic locations and cultural backgrounds we are in.
Thank you so much for that. That was a wonderful discussion and a great experience of watching the film and learning more, not only about how our education can contextualize itself very locally and contribute and maintain, and not only not spread urbanization, but understand the kinds of different communities and the spaces they inhabit and how to respect them. And I think that's a wonderful, wonderful place to optimistically end today's session. A huge thank you to Stenzin for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And we hope that you come back and with the next film as well.
I
Good
really
luck
hope.
for that.
I really hope to. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And thank you, students, for joining us and for your questions. Well, a student has said that it's not a question, but the film had gorgeous cinematography.
Yes, it is done by an amazing artist, amazing cinematographer called Chingmit. Just for your sake, I'll say he has done Manoj Bajpayee's film called Bhosle. He has done that. Yeah, he's from Ladakh, and we are very proud of him. He's my mentor and everything, elder brother, guide, whatever. So, yeah, we have a great team. I'm very proud of my team, whatever we have.
Thank you so much. And with that, we will stop today's session. We hope you have a great evening, and for the students too as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.